Yesterday, D.L. Hughley took to his radio show to tell his side of the story with Monique over who was supposed to headline in their show in Detroit over the weekend. On the radio, Hughley would reveal that Monique did not speak to the promoter about her grievances and did not speak to Hughley before, during, or after the show. In the end, Hughley would blame himself for what happened and called working with Monique an occupational hazard. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Yamanika, Sanders, and Pierre calling to the show, along with very special guests, Wellington Ojuku, to give their thoughts after hearing DL's side of the story. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I haven't seen Monique in years. I didn't see her at the venue before, after, or during. I haven't spoken or seen Monique. And she goes on stage and she proceeds to eviscerate me. Not just me, but Steve Harvey, the sexual, my wife. You wrote your contract, you and your daddy. You proceeded to say things that were so patently insulting that it was galling. Because in this business, like any other, it isn't what you have done, it's what you do. I made the quintessential mistake, the horrible mistake that, like Tyler Perry, like Lee Daniels, like Oprah, like all these people, of saying yes to you. Saying yes to you is an occupational hazard, one I will not repeat. I don't blame you. I wish you well.
Now, Pierre, I know we've been talking about this all week, you know, the back and forth, the contracts and paperwork on Instagram, and now we're hearing directly from D.L. Hughley. What are your thoughts and reactions at this point?
Woo! I mean, he hit it from every angle. Lord have mercy, he hit it from every angle. I mean, from outside looking in, I don't hear any lies. I don't know if he spoke any lies. The contract situation. It's funny, I looked at her contract again. Last night I was looking at it, I knew we were gonna talk about it today. And it says the talent shall not perform less than an hour of performance time after the start of the show. Meaning a lot of times we do that. It means after the start of the show, an hour later, that talent must go on. She knew who was on the show with her. Does she really think DL and that other woman and the MC all were crunching an hour before she went on stage? That's a contract that you give to average, shows when people underneath you that aren't as powerful, as big as DL, the bigger name. Those are just regular comics that she needs to say, I need to go on an hour after so they don't stretch the show after it starts. But when you have a DL Hughley on the show that and she has to know that he's on the show. I'm just saying, if this is the contract, she has to know he's on the show. She don't just say, I'm just going to do a show in Detroit, but I don't know who's on it. So if she knows that if he's on it and he's supposed to go in front of her, that means she's giving him only maybe 45 minutes and Ada Rodriguez 15 minutes and the MC 1 minute. Really? That's how we doing it, Monique? I mean, just saying by her contract, her contract. So I think that his contract was more clad, and I understand why he stood on it. He said that's why he felt that way. And of her coming out there saying how she spoke on it, I'm glad he cleared his air. She hasn't really cleared the air, except so on this, she hasn't spoken on it publicly, so we can hear her voice or her every situation. But really, where is the promoter? At the end of the day, where the damn promoter at? You should have had both of them sign that and agree to both of them. At the end of the day, that's what it really should have been about. Where the promoter at? Where you at, brother? I need to hear, or sister, I need to hear you talk.
Yeah, and I appreciate that insight. Now, I know we have a guest in studio, Wellington. Thank you so much first and foremost for joining us today.
Absolutely.
This has been a running topic, as you know, it's been in the news, we've discussed it, but I want to get your thoughts. At this point, now that we're hearing from D.L. Hughley, what are your thoughts and reactions to it?
Man, I think D.L. set the record straight professionally, and he responded with the right measure to which she gave him. He didn't go off the cuff. He didn't really bash her in. As comedians, you're going to throw some jabs and some jokes in there,
right,
regardless. And my hat's off to him for even going on stage after that, because when Monique starts saying, yes, baby, I seen them people laughing and holding themselves. I said, how do you come out of this when people are laughing and doing this? I said, man, my hat's off to DL, because he was professional. I think he stayed on it for about 2 minutes, I hate that it even came to this point, because I was hoping for a Kings and Queens comedy tour.
Right.
I was like, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
For the culture. Oh, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
But I will give Monique this. She does easily, by far, have the strongest ankles in the comedy business.
Damn.
I've never seen anybody run that fast. Monique did a 40-yard dash. Do you understand what I'm saying? She did in the leopard. I was like, the leopard and the heels, she ran as fast as the animal she wore. She killed it.
Right.
She did that. So my hat's off to her.
Yamanika, I want to bring you in on this. Thank you so much again for joining us. I want to get your thoughts. At this point, With everything we've seen play out on social media, now we're hearing from D.L. Hughley. What are your thoughts and reactions at this point?
I remember being a young woman and going on Showtime at the Apollo for Amateur Hour, and Monique was the host. And she was disgustingly rude to me. So I don't care for her. It's something that's been blazoned in my mind since I met her. However, what I want to be very clear about as a Black woman in comedy is that there are a lot of things, a lot of attitudes, especially from men in comedy, where it'll put you in a place where your back feels like it's against the wall. Levels of disrespect, men feeling like, you need to go on at a certain time, that they're better than you in certain regards. When I see D.L. Hughley and when I see Monique, it's equivocal to me. The kings of comedy, queens of comedy. I don't see one over the other. I saw this as a co-headlining situation. If they were both doing 45 minutes, obviously somebody has to go on first. But I don't think the audience looks at comedy the way that comics know behind the scenes comedy is set up. We understand that there's a hierarchy on certain types of show. I'm in New York City. There is no hierarchy. Everybody goes on and you're doing about the same amount of time and we're just putting on a funny show. When you have a host, feature, headlining situation, there is a hierarchy there. So I think at some point in time, egos got involved. Somebody didn't want to go on after somebody else. Somebody felt like they needed to go on. I felt like either one of them could have gone on and it wouldn't have been the other one went on behind the other one. Once the two of them go on, these are two headliners who are just giving a show. So that's really where I want to keep my commentary. I also want to say this quickly. Obviously, I have sort of empathy and compassion for people because I understand sometimes when you're the person that's always in some shit, people always try to exploit that, right? Well, you got a problem with this person, you got a problem with that person. One of the things we've seen consistent about Monique is that whenever she feels disrespected, she speaks upon that. So, I don't want to just dismiss that she's not being disrespected, but I also want to say that sometimes that's an easy place to go, to just go, look at this person, it's obviously them.
Right. Now, Yamanika, you bring up a great point because I think there's so much behind the scenes that audience members don't know. Right. We're hearing from D.L. Hughley, and one of the things he talks about is that, Monique didn't talk to him. She didn't talk to promoters. But I want to ask, and Pierre, I'll start with you. How does that work, when comedians are arriving? Like, do you have time to meet? Do you typically sit down to have a conversation before you go on stage? And if so, or whether not, do you think this could have been solved if they did talk before the show?
Yes. Let me say something about Yamanika. She's right. She said, any one of them could have went on ahead of another person. But when a contract is laid out, an order is laid out, it's what it is at that point. It's not about getting there, changing them, who's that. You don't have to make someone do something that they don't want to do. If the promoter says you don't want to do it this way or get off stage, then that's your choice. You have to leave if you don't want to do it that way. So I don't think somebody should have had to buck down to the other person. To me personally, if DL has it laid out that he's the last person, he does that, then he doesn't have to say, all right, Monique, let you go on first because you're a female, you mad, you might get upset. That's not cool. Second thing is her outrage. I think she's absolutely right. I said this before. She may have grievances with those other people. Yes, it's true. But it's the way she handles it. We cannot just say, you can say, motherfucker, bitch ass nigga, yo, bitch mama ass motherfucker, because you don't like what someone did to you. Do we not have any decorum? Is it just whatever you want to say?
Well, we don't have decorum like that all the time, Pierre, in comedy. And that's the thing. It got to out with her. But a lot of niggas is doing stuff like that.
No, right. But hold on. But do you praise that? Do you say it's okay?
I'm not praising it at all. I'm just saying,
well,
let's not act like she's the only person that gets out of pocket. This just became a public situation with a lot of cats.
But we talk about Cat Williams when he did it. We talk about whoever when Will Smith stopped. We talk about when people get out of pocket. She seems to get out of pocket more. Name someone else who gets on stage and acts, cusses the people out, whoever they don't like. Name another person who does that more than her.
Well, I'm not going to say who does it more. She has more opportunity to do it. But the fact that you do it at all, right, is an issue.
Well, sure. But it's like constantly. Okay, fine with that. Now, back to the question you asked me about coming on stage. Yeah, she said that he put his foot underneath her table for whatever, the boxing match and all that. Well, then I'm thinking if she thinks she's that cool, she brought that up because that's something you bring up and say, I thought we were cool. You came to my house and you did all this. Well, then where was she coming to knock on his door when something was right? So you know what? Let me go to a person I think I'm cool with. We have no problem right now. Let me knock on his door and ask, what's the problem? She didn't do that. She just determined to go on stage, talk to the promoter. The promoter said, hey, you got to go on before him. And she went off on him. But why did she not go talk to him?
But do you know who said anything to her? Do you know who said? And
hold on. Do you have the problem?
But also, P.S. I'm not here to defend Monique. Like I said, I don't care for her. Okay, just so we're very clear about that. I will never forget how.
I don't have nothing against her. I have nothing against her.
But I'm telling you where I'm coming from. I don't care for how I was treated, and that never has made recompense for that. She may not even remember that or know that.
Okay.
So this is not me jumping in to be like, let me rah for a Black woman. I'm telling you, as a Black woman in comedy, I've experienced stuff behind the scenes from male comics that when I go on stage, you feel some kind of way. We don't know who said anything to her. We're just going off of he said, she said. And the only thing we're really agreeing on is where is the damn promoter to have a conversation, to be on Twitter and Instagram showing what the exchanges that they had. They're very silent right now. So we're all playing a guessing game. And we're going with the person that we like the most, which in this particular case is DL Hughley. A lot of people, it may not be you, Pierre, but a lot of people don't care for Monique, and a lot of people care for DL. He's also clearly communicating his feelings in a way that we can understand. So we're going with a rational person in this regard.
And I want to let Wellington jump in on this one. What are your thoughts right now?
I want to say this. I think we all right about this when it comes to promoters. The promoter should be answering these questions, but I want to get back to a place where people didn't have to bring private business to the forefront and let us argue it out, let us be judge and jury, because it's really none of our business what their contract says. That's between y'all. It should have stayed between y'all. It should have stayed off. Now, and I will say this about what Yamanika said when she said about women speaking up when certain things happen. I get it, because there is time where there's going to have to be an overcorrection, and that's what I think it is. I think it's a lot of things have happened so much to where women have had to respond and never really had a voice. And Monique is that voice. She is that person that's got to say what needs to be said. I think her grievances with Steve Harvey were correct. I think her grievances with Lee Daniel was correct. You know, how she went about it. I don't necessarily care because it was a time for it to be loud. It's time for this to be out in the open. We need to set a standard, and she did that. So I will say Monique has pushed the needle when it came to setting a standard for how things are handled, how business is handled, and we no longer being hush mouth about it. Monique is that person. Now, I don't necessarily care about what she did with the whole DL and Monique thing, but at this point, the promoter has to answer for this. I understood the thing when it came to Steve Harvey, because Steve Harvey, she said something that was very vital. We playing the integrity game. Steve said it was the money game. She said it's the integrity game, and I appreciate that, because sometimes if this is how we continue to roll, that it's always about the money, then nobody has integrity. And everybody thinks they got to bend over backwards and take it, and we moving the middleman out.
Right.
So I was glad that she said that. And Steve talking about this the money game, this the if my kids crumble, I crumble, my wife crumbles. Why are y'all gingerbread cookies? What are we talking about, Steve?
I do want to bring up, D.L. Hughley did go on stage after Monique, said what she had to say during her set. So I want to take a look at that and then come back and get you all's reaction. So let's take a look at that clip.
Let's see what part 2's gonna look like. Detroit,
What did I miss? Damn. Kanye and Monique. I can't go nowhere. Apparently Precious was not a movie, that shit was an autobiography, god damn. I hate everybody, god damn. We got 21 kids getting slaughtered in Mexico, and you want to talk about you all the goddamn time. What the f*** is you about? You.
Pierre, I want to go ahead and jump right in. After seeing that clip, hearing from DL, what are your thoughts?
First of all, that MC ain't shit. That nigga want to start the shit and keep it going. Not start it, but keep it going. We got to kind of end this shit. I know it's the elephant in the closet, in the room, but there's a way to handle it. But to say, I want to hear what part 2 gonna be. It's just like, let's get it riled up. And I don't know if that's really good for the culture to, put two titans against each other to really just fight each other out constantly. I applaud him for going on stage. Some people couldn't have went on stage after all that. Let's be honest. That was a heavy thing to go after you've been cut. But not just talked about, but cussed out viscerally, you know, I mean, just really viscerally, like I really hate you and your wife and sucking dick and blah, blah, blah. Woo. And to follow that, I commend him for following it. I just wish it wouldn't have happened, all in all, but, you know.
Yamanika, I want to get your reactions after seeing that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he took a lot, right? And I'm never going to act like he didn't take a lot. But I do think, like, you know, bringing up things like the Tops grocery store and, you know, Uval and stuff like that is sort of a deflection. Like, you know, even though we have stuff going on, obviously, I don't think it's a matter of somebody making commentary because they think what they have going on is more. I think in Monique's mind, if stuff is going on behind the scenes and it may not get addressed, let me address it at this time. Would I have done it? Absolutely not. I've held my tongue about a lot of. I've gone on stage after being disrespected by comedians, and I've held my tongue because I think it's more important to just continue to go on, and you ain't gonna be able to follow me no way. Now we all can take a good look at Pierre. Pierre, no, he's the type of person, he gonna have an outburst on stage. No way you sitting there looking like the Night Rider, and if somebody did something behind the scenes on you, you gonna go out there and not open your mouth, Pierre. You know you are.
You're
you
right.
know you are, Pierre.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I was just excited when I thought we had Monique in the studio. I was like, oh shit, Monique.
I think he's gonna do that.
So, you know, I mean, my bad. I was like, damn, we got Monique.
He lost a lot of weight. I'm proud to be Monique.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Let me bring in Wellington after seeing that, you know, him going on stage after Monique. What are your thoughts and reactions to it?
It wasn't just him going on stage after Monique. It was the fact he went on stage after the host had made it seem like it was a rival between West Coast and East Coast. Even though, to me, comedy is comedy. We gonna dig at stuff. Yeah, we shouldn't carry on, but it was funny how they handled it all in the moment because nobody saw it coming.
Right.
Nobody saw none of that coming. So for DL to go up there, still go on stage, and still handle his business, you know, I get he responded however he felt necessary to respond because it was a blow. So I mean, it was interesting altogether. And they were in Detroit too. So I heard somebody say, "What up, though?" I was like, "Huh?"
So let me ask you this: put yourself in DL's shoes for a moment, right? Or how would you respond if you had just been insulted by the comedian that just went on before you in that manner? What would you do?
You definitely address it. You don't want to go too hard on it because it could take a deep dive and it'll be hard to dig yourself out of that. So you want to he did it perfectly. He lightly addressed that issue, and then he kept it moving. DL that's one of our quick wittiest. How do you say it?
Don't even try, player. Just we don't say.
In comedy.
Yeah.
He get to it and then keep it moving.
Right. Yamanika, let me ask you that same question. If you're in that situation, how do you respond as a comedian? If the comedian before you just insulted you in that manner, how would you respond?
Well, baby, since I'm damn Monique.
Mm-hmm. You are. That's it.
Yeah, please don't have me come over there and move that tripod behind you, okay?
Don't do that.
All right, because I know you're trying to get your OnlyFans off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right.
I wish you see how we have this banter, we're having a discussion, but we're also having love with it. I wish that's where it could have went. I'm honestly, there's nothing that I can say. I'm speaking on behalf of what I know I feel as a Black woman in comedy or woman in general in comedy. But Monique was out of pocket, right? And what she did, but to her, she's not out of pocket. So who can say where somebody feels like they're doing something from their own perspective? Would I have done it? I would not have done it. I think D.L. Hughley went on and did what he had to do. He addressed it. Why wouldn't he address it? It's a big thing. If he had gone on for 10 minutes, he could have gone on for 10 minutes. He felt attacked and he was being attacked. I don't think either one of them needs each other to continue to move forward in this career. It's easy to, again, like I said, for Monique, DL is very involved in social media. He's very in the now. He's still moving. He's very contemporary. He's still keeping himself very relevant in this time. So he has a lot of supporters. He's being current. So for that, yeah, I understand why he probably thinks he should be the headliner, and fair enough. You understand? For Monique, we all know that anytime she feels disrespected, it's a problem. So, you know, like, don't do a show with her if you don't feel like you can't do something that's going to get underneath her toes. But I don't know what that could possibly be.
Yeah, no, and I do appreciate you bringing that up. I love the banter and how y'all able to go back and forth and still have a good time. But Pierre, I want to bring that same question to you. You know, if if the comedian before you just insulted you in that manner, how do you respond as a comedian?
I mean, besides punching him or her in the face, besides that part of it, I mean, smacking the shit out of somebody. But no, at the end of the day, I've never been in that situation before. But let's say I just kind of was. I think DL handled it perfect. I mean, he was put out in a bad position to walk out in front of that. She had a better position. She walked out with no one knew what was going to happen. Everyone had all that love, so she did her thing. Easy. After she did what she did to him, my God, it was. He started from -0. Okay, let's be honest. He had to dig his way out of that situation. And I think, like the both people said, he did a fabulous job by just coming out, talking about it lightly and moving on. Because you don't want you don't want to do 15, 20 minutes about that. Then it becomes something. Then it becomes y'all both on the same level. Show, hey, boom. She said what she said. Let me talk about it real quick and move on and do my act, which he did. Again, I'll say it for the last time. It's sad to see them two Titans go against each other. I have love for both of them. It just, like Yamanika said, man, you don't know what now is going to happen with Monique. If you work with her, what's going to take her off. I mean, to go where she cusses you out. And that's not a good place to be. And I know she don't want to be there. That's a lot of pain. That's a lot of hurt inside of her of what she's been through. I get it. But she just can't, yell like that and call people names. People aren't going to want to work with her. That's it.
Now, Pierre, I think you bring up something that a lot of people are feeling. We don't like seeing these two go head to head. So, we're big solution based. So I want to ask and I want to go around. But Pierre, I'll start with you. What do you think should happen next at this point?
There's really nothing that could be done. Okay, if the promoter comes out and says his thing and then we ship. The thing I don't like is that we're separating each other. We having to draw a line in the middle. You're either Monique or you DL. And it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be, you divide to conquer. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to divide. I'm Team Mo, I'm Team DL. Aren't we Team comedians? These are legendary comics, man. Man, we should all love each other, be cool with it. We may not agree with each other, but not to draw the line like I ain't fucking with him because he don't want her. It's absolutely ridiculous, man, that we're at that point like that. And it's a shame that people cheered on and rod on and yeah, I'm on his side. We're dividing each other. We're dividing it. We're doing what the white man wants, okay? We're doing what the white man wants. He want to separate us, and you're going right along with the shit. So that's ridiculous.
Wellington, I saw you give a thumbs up, so I want to ask you bring that same question to you. What do you think should happen next, or what do you want to see next?
What I want to see is, I hate that it came out to public because now we want to hear what the promoter says. We're all waiting to see what's the promoter's thoughts on this and what was his, and we shouldn't have to be. I just want to see them perform together. Kings and Queens comedy tour would be amazing. Both of them are dope. When DL brought up the fact that she had called out Charlamagne, and I think she was right for calling Charlamagne out because when she said she wanted to go to Netflix, I want millions of dollars, she has every right to ask for that. Regardless of what you think her credits are, regardless of what you think her credentials, who am I to tell her what she should ask for? And Charlamagne, the guy, was wrong for that. So you can't tell nobody what they worth. If she feels she worth that, let her go get it. All you should do is, hey, babe, go do what you do.
Right.
And I ain't picking those sides when it comes to DL or Monique. I love both of them. I think they're both fantastic. They're both necessary. This business is tough.
Yeah.
And you could easily drop out. We've seen so many people come and go, but they kept going in spite of. So, even when she was doing her speech on stage, like I said, when I saw her do that speech and when I saw her talking about the whole issue with Tyler, DL, I was holding myself. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. I said, oh my God.
Right.
But I think they, hopefully they hash it out, and that whether they speak or not, there's no need to be nasty towards one another.
Right.
We all we got.
Yamanika, I want to lastly bring that same question to you. What do you want to see happen next, or what do you think should happen as we move forward?
No, I think one of the things that we need to focus on is that I started off by saying that I had a problem with Monique from something that happened many, many years ago. I looked up to her. We're both from Baltimore. According to Pierre, we both look alike. We both say, hey, baby.
Mm-hmm. Queens. Yes.
I felt some kind of way and still do because I had respect for Monique, and I didn't like the exchange. So there's a hurt there. There's got to be a hurt that's happening with her to keep having these responses, to feel disrespected. And I wish, instead of people, and I know it can be annoying when somebody is, aggressively annoying to, what seems like the world. I wish more people would reach out and run to her and have a conversation and see where this hurt is, see what's going on. If you want to, if you don't, I know some people may say that's more of a kumbaya thing. But I will also say this, and I hate to say this. Pierre said it the best.
Oh, Lord. Get it out.
You said it the best. I hate that we have to be divided. Why can't it just be team comedy? I hate that it got here. I hope it just, dissipates into air and we can just move on, and that DL keeps his fans, the people that love him. Monique keeps her fans and the people that love her. And this is just, a teeny little blight in our history that we can move beyond and laugh at years from now.
I do appreciate y'all for chiming in and giving y'all thoughts and reactions to this. Before we close out, I do want to know what you all have going on. So I will start with our lovely guest, Wellington Ojuku. First of all, and thank you again for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, King. I don't care what he said, your hat or my hat. We both look great, brother.
Thank you, sir.
What do you have coming up, or how can people keep in contact with you?
Check me out. I'm Wellington Ojuku, Ojuku. If you're looking for me on Facebook, it's Wellington Juku, Juku. Thank you so very much, Comedy Hype, for having me out here. I appreciate you all. Continue to be blessed.
Thank you so much. Yamanika, what do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
Well, you can follow me at Yamanika, the second Monique. I'm surprisingly enough, you can just catch me in New York City this month. Few travels. I've just got off the road really crazy. So every weekend you can catch me at the Comedy Cellar in New York City. And next month I will be doing the Nasty Show at Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. So if you want to get your tickets, you go to justforlaughs.com to get tickets there and see me.
Absolutely. Last and certainly not least, Pierre, what do you have coming up, and how can people keep in contact with you?
Shout out for Mr. Ojuku. Congratulations. Keep working. Y'all support that brother. I never really seen him do comedy, but I have seen this queen do comedy. Yamanika is very funny, and I got number love for her. So I want you to know, me and her know what it is before people think we hate each other, whatever. But support her and support him when you see him. I will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Sunday the 5th at the Tulsa Comedy Club. We're doing a special night, the 5th, June 5th, this Sunday, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm also doing my special in LA, June 12th, I believe it is, in Los Angeles at a fly club, a fly sexy club. We're doing a special. Comedy Hype is presenting me out there. I'm going to do my special. It's a micro special. It's going to be funny as heck. So if you're in LA, we'll get a number, we'll get reservations or whatever it is to come to see, get it. And come support me June 12th, I believe it's a Sunday. Make it happen. Again, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And again, thank you all for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts now that we've heard from DL Hughley? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in them comments. You will. They will.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.